Whoa, how'd you guys get here? It's the next day. But today the sprayer is coming unhooked. Oh god. Today the sprayer is coming unhooked from the tractor. We are done with it. I do not think it got filmed, but we ended up doing our post spray about a week ago. That is when I was doing tillage, and my dad replanted with our new planter that same day, and I didn't have a spare camera to go with the sprayer. So the real question is can I get this sprayer inside? Because we put the sprayer right there in that corner, so usually we'll back it in and take it in right there. Normally we use our little 574 sitting right there, but I'm going to be lazy and try to use our 1486. So we're going to see how good I can back up the sprayer. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty talented if I ask myself. We are just at that time of the year where our crops are sort of on their own. We are not going to be putting the post spray on our beans due to we planted 15-inch beans, and we have to have doles on our 1486 to spray or not. That tractor gets really chippy. So, that just being said, we just decided that we were going to hire our beans to be sprayed. So I am at one of my good friends, T-Top's house. He has internet that he lets me borrow. But 54 years ago, man got to the moon. And 54 years later, after all of our advancements in technology, we still can't get internet on the same planet. No different planets. We still can't get internet all the way across one whole planet. What am I missing here? I mean, like, really? Because we can't get internet at our house. All we have is our cell phone service and like a booster thing. That's all we have, because we can't get it. And we've been checking for almost a year now, and we put deposits down on stuff, and all the spots are full in our area. But I'm just like, you can send a man to space 54 years ago in 1969, but then you can't get internet to everybody that on one planet. Like, what the heck? But you can send people to other planets. Like, am I missing something here? But I do appreciate T-Top letting me come use his internet. He knows who he is. There's a lot of things wrong with our world today. We can send a man to space, but not everybody on Earth can have internet. We got our spreader put up. We're done with it for the year. We won't use it till fall, so we put it in a barn that we borrowed just to store equipment in there. So we got to put it up nice tucked away in there, and we put our divider in there for when we spread lime. We just stick that in there so it's with the spreader at all times, just for convenience, you know. But we're in one of our fields now. This field got completely replanted with double trouble. It was completely drowned out the first time, and nothing came up on it. It's been about a week and a half now since it's been planted, and here is our stand. It looks a lot better than it did the first time. Are you impressed with Double Trouble?
Yeah, a lot better than planting it twice. Some skips here and there, but as far as the stand, I couldn't ask for anything better than what we put in it. I mean, it needs some more work, but after getting a stand like this, you wonder, should I spend all that money on all that work or just plant it like this?
We have planter trucks going across the field where we drove the planter out when we finished planting. Can you tell where the planter crossed the row at? Here's where a row, and then it goes no beans. Then once the tire crosses over the row, it goes back to beans. See right here, look how many rows are right here, and you can see where the tire tracks went. No beans, no beans, no beans, beans, no beans. There's one guy trying to break through the crust there. So you see this bean right here? This guy was planted April 15th, and these are planted a week and a half ago. This is what the whole field should look like if it did not get drowned out. But this very small corner right here on the edge of the field was the only part that did not get drowned out. Look, we took a change of plans. We're out here in a cornfield. So we have Dylan, what's your name?
Daniel Wright.
And then Daniel Wright is here with us, and we're just out here. Our post spray went on a couple weeks ago, and we're just out here looking around, looking at some corn, doing some tissue sampling, and just looking at our weed control, seeing how everything is growing compared to our, I'm not going to say awful spring, but we didn't have a great spring after we planted. It turned cold and damp. And we're out here now just looking and seeing what the corn is needing for future when it comes to fungicide. What's our yield potential going to be?
That's not something we discussed, but the yield potential is on the field we're in is probably lower than what it could be if we were on some good bottom ground, good black dirt, high organic matter. 150 to 170 out of this particular field. So we're just out here checking the corn. Like you said, we're checking it for weed pressure, which their spray job cleaned it up and is keeping it clean. We're checking for nutrients that the corn plant might need. We've pulled some leaves off of the corn plants, and I'm going to send them off for the lab for analysis to see what's the makeup of the corn plant, to see if we need to add anything in with the fungicide or if we are going to spray fungicide. And that insect pressure, which I haven't seen anything out here. We did see some planter issues. That's another thing we can look at as we're out scouting, and just try to prepare for the future with what we have in the present.
Where do you work at?
I work for Delta Ag Formulations. We're based out of Greenville, Mississippi. I'm the Kentucky rep.
All right, and then he is more for, we used, what was it called? Your
Microvite. I think you had that at 2x2.
Yes.
It's a micro combo. And given the plant, like this corn had it on here, probably won't need as much sulfur now. The zinc levels should be fine in this plant. The tissue samples Dylan just taken will tell us that or not, but this corn's growing out of the really needing much zinc now. So with that quart of microvita, you're going to get enough zinc and sulfur in there for the crop. Anyway, yeah, we come out here, we look. A lot of fields you're seeing a lot of nitrogen deficiencies. This year in particular, just an odd wet year, cool year. This field had some litter on it. You can tell it's got a pretty good color to it. It's not deficient. I'm not seeing any burn on the leaves down low from a deficiency in it. So we're out here looking, like Dylan just said, we're out here looking for different things.
So we will have to come back, and it would be probably a few months, or about a month and a half, so. And we'll make our decision on how the corn's looking, and if we're gonna do fungicide or not. That'll just be a decision for on down the road. But with our wet, cool spring and all the money we invested in the liquid fertilizer and the pivot bio, if we have an average year, I'd consider that the fertilizer working for us. So that's just, you have to see what the combine determines. doing here was we just have some leftover liquid fertilizer that we use in our planter. It was just left over. We had probably about 260 gallons of it left. So we just put it in our little poultry sprayer right there and misted it across the field. And you may ask why we don't save it for next year, and that's just because we don't have a good place to store it to keep it from freezing. So we have to sort of get rid of it, because even if we do keep it, there's a good chance we may not have it for next year. Something we learned for next year is we have mini totes, but I don't think we're going to use those next year. We have a big 1,600 gallon water tank that we're going to use and just have fresh water in it and mix the liquid fertilizer as it goes into the planter. So that way what we have left over is in 2.5 gallon jugs, and we can put that somewhere in our basement or whatever where we can store it and keep it heated over the winter for the next year. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope they enjoy it. Remember, faith, family, farm. See you in the next one.